Thank you, Brenda. Got the recording symbol here. Thank you, everyone. John Bradley, Novi, Michigan. I've got a couple of good ones tonight, a couple good stories. Certainly, we all know that Legal Shield is great, not only for personal reasons, but also for business reasons. Here's a situation where a member was able to wipe out $3,000 of erroneously attributed homeowners association fees, or as they call it, draconian homeowners association fees. We all know about that. They were trying to enforce on a property that they were buying. Legal Shield helped them get rid of that. There also was $80,000 on the line and at risk of evaporating when someone wanted to back out of a contract that had already been executed. They contacted their provider law firm, and the result was positive. The membership was paid for a lifetime just with those instances. So they are certainly PPLSI for life. Here's another one, a little bit more detail. A member had a $52 million contract pending with GNC, the nutritional supplement vitamin company, for a product that had been invented for women's health. An investor had backed out of the agreement and wanted to discuss changing the percentages, upping the percentage to 66%, which was ridiculous. And the member did not agree to that. So the member withdrew a $2.5 million advertising campaign that had been in the works. So as a result of all of these changes and instances, she terminated the partnership. Well, the investor sued her for $175,000. She has the prepaid or the Legal Shield business plan, small business plan, and at the time she was living in Texas. She contacted the provider firm in Texas. They wrote a nasty 3-page letter. The attorney responded and the lawsuit got dropped. But wait, there's more. Months later, the ex-partner reported to the IRS that they had given them $80,000 in person, which was a lie. And the result of that is it triggered a $23,000 IRS tax bill from that erroneous report. They got the provider law firm involved because at this point she was living in Louisiana. 6 months went by. They received a letter with the Legal Shield attorney's involvement. They got a letter from the IRS. Zero balance. Life is good. They're PPLSI for life. Jane, I'm turning it over to you.
Love those stories. Thank you so much, John. Y'all, I'm a little bit selfish tonight. I had a reason. This is our last Zoom of the quarter. It's our last Zoom where Brenda and I are hosting. And I went a little above and beyond. I went and got two of the most amazing people. And the reason I got these two gentlemen was because of a meeting back in Louisville, Kentucky, what, 10, 12 years ago? And I happened to win some really cool stuff at that summer blast. One of them was a eight-seat box at Churchill Downs. And both Rob MacKenzie and Don Wilson, that was the first time I got to meet them. I invited them to go along with my roommates. And we learned so much just watching these two crazy men. Now, I could spend the next half hour just telling you about one of them, but I'm going to start off really quickly. Rob, just to give you an idea, Legal Shield didn't even exist in Canada when he started. Rob's background, he was a police officer 25 years. His wife was a legal secretary, so you can see where their backgrounds come from. And he worked on getting that opened up in Canada. When he was finally allowed to sell it, within 6 months, he was a $100,000 ring earner. Boom, he did it. And Don and Ellen, they've been in the company for 22 years. Don is now a $300,000 ring earner. They're all such amazing people. I don't want to talk anymore because I want them to talk. And Don, I mentioned it to you. I kind of left it open. You know, the two of you together, I've heard your stories, but many people here may not have. The adversity you faced at the beginning, your spouses weren't too happy. And a lot of people here are also doing Legal Shield on their own. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that. And I'm just going to say, I'll go out right away. I'll go to Don first and let you guys bounce off of each other.
Not a problem. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you, Brenda, for having us, inviting us on Mr. Brent's call. It's always a pleasure to come out. And if you can't hear me, let me know. I'm on a new speaker system here, so we'll see if this works out okay. Hello, everybody. Ellen and I have been with Legal Shield now for 22 and a half years. We are coming up on 49 years of marriage. 2 kids, 4 great grandchildren, and having a blast playing the grandparents game. But at the time that we were introduced to Legal Shield, I was introduced to Legal Shield by to this industry by a dear friend of mine, and I got invited to hear a seminar. And I wouldn't have gone had it not been for he was just a great friend that I sang with, and I decided I would go to this seminar. I didn't really know what it was about, and it was here in Dallas. Went out to a local hotel. Many of you may not have heard this part of the story before. Went to a local hotel, and I'm sitting there, and there's room for about 500 people. And this guy, they introduced this guy who I'd never heard of, named Jim Rohn. And it was a 4-hour Jim Rohn session. And I had walked into that meeting with no pen, no paper, no idea what I was walking into, didn't know it was network marketing, didn't really know what network marketing was. And as Mr. Rohn began to speak, I got more and more intent on listening, and very soon I was borrowing paper and borrowing pens and wrote 11 pages front and back of notes in that meeting. And then at the end, they came out and said, by the way, there's a business opportunity we're going to work with, and we're going to market Mr. Rohn's products and other people like him. And I turned around and looked at my friend and I said, how much? And I'm in. And that was my beginning in network marketing. And I was in a company there called the People's Network for 3 years. I put in 450 something people into that company by just sharing DVDs and excited about what I was doing, and absolutely nearly lost my home because I didn't make any money at that company. And some people say, wait, what? You've been successful. No, you have to understand. My story in Legal Shield is that when I got into Legal Shield, I made my money. I made my first $100,000 in 9 months and 4 days. So that's a true statement. But the reality is I spent 3 years in that other company learning how the network industry worked, learning how to present, how to talk and recruit people, how to build a team and understand that entire concept of network marketing. So when I say 9 months and 4 days to our first 100,000, you have to understand it was really 3 years, 9 months and 4 days to that first $100,000 for business. And I wouldn't trade those 3 years that we didn't make any money and nearly lost everything doing what they said to do. I would never trade that because of the education. It was like a crash college course that I took in network marketing and personal development. I really didn't understand what personal development was. I had been doing a lot of the things that they had taught, but never really had a chance to apply it. And after learning how to apply it, being able to take that and push it into Legal Shield. And at the time that I saw Legal Shield and the time that I saw this industry, we had been out of the business for about 18 months. I had left a prepaid legal. I was not in network marketing for a good while. I was actually, I won't go into that story. That's a long story. But a gentleman introduced me, a good friend of mine who was a multimillionaire, called me up and he said, Don, I found out where I'm going to make my next million. Do you want to play? And I said, sure. Now, this was a brother that I trusted in Christ, a brother that I knew was a real millionaire because I'd seen his business, I'd seen his home, I knew who he was, I'd known him for 3 years in that other company, and I joined on the spot. And I came home and told my wife, and at the time I told my wife that we had joined another network marketing company because we had sworn off that we wouldn't do this again because the first company wasn't successful. But I told my wife we had 5 companies, 202 employees, we were working 7 days a week, and we were running and gunning. My wife and I were passing each other in the night. Literally, we were open 24 hours a day, and it never stopped. When I told my wife that we were going to start another company and we were going to market attorneys, I was so excited about what I had learned about Legal Shield when I first saw it. She looked at me, she broke down crying and did not cook, clean, or speak to me for a week. True story. Many of you will not believe that because you know how sweet Miss Ellen is, but you don't want to cross her. And she was not that she didn't like Legal Shield. She didn't like what she thought was the industry, which was the other company. What she didn't realize at the time that I saw, I've had the ability to see a little bit ahead of some others, and I saw that this was the right tool for me. I knew it was a place that I could take everything that I had learned in those 3 years and of my business lives and apply it to what I was looking for, where you had no inventory, because I had 2,000, 3,000 square foot of light bulbs and janitorial supplies and dry cleaning supplies, all the companies that we had owned. I'd had all that overhead. I used to have to make $15,000 to $18,000 a month before I made my first dollar in profit in any given month in my businesses. I had to carry all that inventory. I had 202 employees. I used to wake up every Monday morning dreading how many of them were going to be in jail from their weekend hangovers. Okay, we had low-end employees, and that was a reality in the world we worked in. which one of my maids is going to go into a home and break what I thought was a jelly glass and the customer said was $1,000 base. Stuff like that we had to worry about in our business. But I had no employees in Legal Shield. I had no inventory in Legal Shield, and they paid me daily. I left my other companies and shut them down, sold them off, got rid of them. We left those other companies with them owing us hundreds of thousands of dollars and never got paid. And when I heard that Legal Shield was going to pay daily, it was a no-brainer. So I put my head down and I went to work. I put my blinders on and I jumped into Legal Shield. My wife was not on board, but literally in 9 months and 4 days, we turned our first $100,000. My wife decided she would get interested in Legal Shield. And it's never been that bad since, as we've said. So Jane, it's kind of a long version of a very longer story, but it's my story and it's what's happening. You all will have your story. So don't matter about where you are, it's about where you're going or where you can be. You just have to set your sights on, put your blinders on. Don't look left or right. Just look forward at your goal and keep going. That's going to get you there. And you're going to get to hear from one of my best friends in the world, Rob and Charlene MacKenzie. They're just an amazing couple. And what I can tell you is if Legal Shield went away, John and Lynn Drennan, Rob and Charlene MacKenzie, and so many of you, we would all still be friends. We would all still communicate. We would all still hassle and have fun with one another and be there when we're needed. That's what Legal Shield's all about. Mr. Rob?
Yeah, Rob, you started at the same time, I believe, as he did in TPN, correct?
Well, yeah, it's kind of coincidental that we have similar backgrounds and similar spouses experience. When I first saw Legal Shield, I was in Dallas, Texas, and I was with the company TPN that Don just talked about. And first of all, I just want to say, Jane, thank you for inviting us to be on this call. It's an honor for us to be here. And also to our great friend, as Don said, John Drennan is just the greatest leader of leaders and been a mentor to us for now a quarter of a century. Like, it sounds like so long, but don't blink. It goes by so fast. Oh my goodness, we're having so much fun. And we've got, if we actually told all the stories that we've all worked together, many of us that I see, I'm looking at some of the heads nodding and bobbing on here. It's just amazing stories. And isn't that what our life is? Just a group of stories collectively. But as you said, Jane, yeah, we were together, John and Don and I, so now that's over 25 years together. That is a rarity in this industry, to be together for 25 years. And, we were all with a great, I remember seeing Mr. Jim Rohn for the very first time, like Don said, and the personal development that we learned in TPN. We had been in several network marketing companies, some somewhat successful, but no company has paid us anywhere close in the 6 months in Legal Shield that in the other companies, years and years and years. We earned in 6 months $100,000 in Legal Shield. And I was on the Toronto Police Department. I had just been there about 25 years when I saw Legal Shield. And we had 5 kids at home. I was not looking to quit my job. I loved my job. I had a great job as a crime analyst and criminal profiler. I really enjoyed everything I did there, but I needed extra money because I found 5 teenagers like to eat. I don't know about anybody else, but they like to eat. And so I needed more money. So we were looking for things to do. And I thought, man, when I saw this service, of course, Charlene had been a legal secretary. I'd been on the police department, so I knew people needed it. And I thought, wow, if I could make $500 or $600 extra a month, part-time, without quitting my job, this would be amazing for us, right? And so sometimes I think that's a little nugget, as they say, when we're talking with people, because many people, they don't want to quit their job. They don't want to burn their bridges. But what happened is we were so successful here, I thought, I'm going to go full time. And then we had a catastrophe happen. I literally, we lost a whole bunch of our titles because of a fight with the Insurance Commission in Canada. But you know what's interesting? I believe so much in what we did. Charlene did as well. And Charlene wasn't on board at the beginning, just like Ellen wasn't with Don. But
For the same reason.
For the same reasons. It's so funny that we're all coincidental here. But we had a situation where we lost a lot of the product that we had. But I could have gone back to the police department. I had a 6-month window where I could have gone back, but I believed in the mission. of what we were doing is radically and dramatically changing the delivery of the legal system. And I knew it was broken badly, and I knew we could make a difference. And I knew together we could all make a difference. I didn't go back. I signed my final papers, even though we had a catastrophe and lost all those. And, we said, no, we're going to charge forward. And following Mr. Stonecipher's belief in what we're doing, we kept going. And thank God we did. We're just shy of $3 million now. And I don't think the police department would have ever paid us that, not legally anyway, like really. It's kind of fun that we've been here and shared the dreams. I know several of us are going to Hawaii in a couple months, but we traveled together, both with Legal Shield and just together. And I know I've been to Don's home. Don's been here. John has been here. I've been to John's home. And that's the relationships that we've built. And it's great to make the money. It's great to make the money, and it's great to have the incredible mission we have, but it's the relationships that we built here, which is rare air in this industry for a quarter of a century plus. And I know I honestly believe the best is yet to come. I honestly believe that the technology that Mr. Bell brought to the table, that we can move forward with as we go forward, it is going to be an incredible, incredible ride as we go forward. And I honestly believe the best is yet to come. So that's my belief. So Jane, I'll give it back to you for any further questions you have.
Well, before I go further, I think everybody heard another voice there. Where's Charlene? And where's Ellen if she's around? I heard Charlene. Is she there? Tell her to come in here and say hello.
Charlene, they're calling for you.
We are calling you. What about Ellen? Ellen, there they are. Yay. Hello, Charlene. Nice to see you. And I know Ellen's right there because I see Don smiling. Ellen, hello. We're thinking of you. There she. Look at that one eyeball. Nice to see you guys. I have one other question. Both of you. I mean, John went from Michigan to Kentucky to New Hampshire. We've moved around. I went from Michigan down to Texas, but you both took to the road. And I know, Don, you're still often on the road. So how did your Legal Shield, how did that affect your business?
It got better.
Really? Awesome. What about you, Rob? You guys have now settled, I believe, correct?
Well, we've had a motor home about 10 years now. And I remember meeting up with John and Don in one of our motor homes, an older one, because we didn't know whether we were going to really like it, but we met up with them in Florida, and we were right on the beach. And
it's a very cool spot.
Real cool spot. I think Cocoa Beach something. Anyway, it's a beautiful spot, and these guys came down and met us. And I can remember Don going, "I could do this. I could really do this." And now the rest is history, obviously. But we still spend 6 months a year. We spend 6 months in Canada here on Lake Couchiching, Kaching, which we've nicknamed our lake because it's Lake Couchiching, but it sounds better with the money I did. And but Don and Ellen have gone full time. So the little experiences that you pass on to people, you really don't know what it's going to be like. And it's been a great experience meeting up with them and joining our motor homes together and meeting in parks. So I'll give it back to Don for sharing about that.
Just have to say they have a beautiful home on wheels.
Yeah, they're all homes. We're blessed. We live in a 45-foot Newmar, Essex, if anybody knows what that is. That's our full-time home. We sold our 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in Carrollton a little over 5 years ago and went full-time. With technology now, the meeting that we're doing right now, I could be anywhere in North America and you wouldn't know the difference. We laugh because sometimes we're on the side of the highway sitting under an underpass while I stop and do a Zoom call for a client. I've done employee presentations, which I do most of my employee presentations now through Zoom. It's a slower enrollment, but a bigger enrollment because people are calling in from home and they have more time to look at what you're doing, what you're chatting about, and just spending time with people. We're able to do game plan interviews. We're able to visit with children and grandchildren. We're able to go spend time with people. That was before the gas cost $50 a gallon. But other than that, our goal is to be on the road 3 out of every 4 months. And so if we can be gone that in our life, that's our way of living these days. And we choose to see this world that God's given us and travel as much as we can. And we take Legal Shield with us along the way. Do you want to say something?
No, I think you covered it all, but just don't be hung up with, I'm doing Legal Shield, so I have to stay home. Get out there, people. It's a big, lovely world. Just get out there.
Yeah.
And take Legal Shield with you.
Good point. Good point. And if I could share with something that a class that I took the other day is a statement that I've been pondering a lot on, and you may want to write this down. It says, who besides you is paying the price for the way your lifestyle looks today? Who besides you is paying the price for the way your lifestyle looks today? Your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your neighbors, your friends. Who's paying that price?
You and me, babe.
It's one of those ones you need to ponder a little bit in life, going, ooh, it's not about me. It's about what I do that affects so many others.
Yep.
And so many things we can do. Or as our grandson likes to say, when we say, well, who's going to pay for that? He looks at his grandpa.
No, because
Not grandpa is going to pay for that. So,
And you can smile and say, absolutely. That's
yes,
wonderful.
ma'am.
we tell our children, don't let them make us choose, because we're keeping the grandkids.
Oh, that is wonderful. I'm not sure, Timur, are you available? I was going to see if Timur would like to ask any question. Here he comes. Timur, do you have any questions for them?
I don't, other than I just want to say, listen, I mean, I've had the opportunity for the last, 18 years. I'm just started my 18th year with Legal Shield. And, I can remember some of the times when Charlene and Rob and Don and Ellen would come to our summer blasts. And, I can remember so many of the trainings that they've done, and they stay with me. I mean, if I've said how you do anything is how you do everything one time, I've said it about a million times. And so, I'm just glad you guys are living your best life right now. And, one thing that, that Don just said I felt was important is, who's paying the price for the life that you live? And that's such an important thing. I just ended, 15 days being by my mom's side, every single day while she was in the hospital, and, got paid every single day by Legal Shield, and that helps. That helps tremendously in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. And so everything that you all have taught us, we will continue to, prosper with. And, if not you, who's going to do it? And if not now, when are you going to do it? Right. I mean, life is short. So I so appreciate you all, and really everybody who's given so much support over the last couple of weeks with my mama's transition. So thank you all so much. And back to you.
All right. And John, let's go out to you. You're the reason that they're here.
Oh, yeah, this is so special. So first of all, Jane, kudos to you. I had no idea you had Rob and Charlene and Don and Ellen coming on tonight. Part of that was this weekend, Lynn and I took about a 6-hour road trip to Ithaca, New York, to be at the wedding of a gentleman who I was best man in his wedding with his wife in 1979. And I knew this man his freshman year in college and mine. So as I'm thinking about this, I heard Rob and Don both talking about the TPN experience. And that's where I met Rob. I remember the day I met you, Rob. And that's where I met Don and ultimately Charlene and Ellen. And so that was 25 plus years ago. Yet I was at a wedding with someone I've known for 51 years. And it's just such a perspective. And there was a point over the weekend I thought I knew this gentleman before I knew anybody on this screen. But back to, 25 years is a long time. And you guys shared so much right there. And bear with me, everyone, but this is homecoming for me. Rob and Charlene, that was in Fort Myers, Florida. And we, with the Wilsons, got this incredible condo overlooking in the direction of Sanibel Island, if anyone's familiar with that. And we just had an amazing few days there as three couples. Hearing Don, I've known Don and Ellen a long time, and we're very close, yet I've never heard the story I just heard of the Jim Rohn event and going there without a pen and a notebook, which had Don known what was coming, he'd had 2 notebooks and 10 pens. And so I hadn't heard that. Bear with me here. And then I hope everyone got that You know, he learned about Legal Shield through somebody he had great respect for. And that led to cashing in businesses that still owed hundreds of thousands of dollars. That led to doing a total pivot. That led to, you know, doing something where initially his spouse was not on board. Rob's spouse was not on board. My spouse initially really wasn't on board. I mean, she supported me, but she, you know, the body language and the voice and everything initially not on board. And of course, I've always said, if you want your spouse to be on board, there's two things: deposits and paid trips. You know, so there's the answer to that. But then, you know, Rob and Charlene literally opened the country of Canada. And I was there for that. I got to sort of witness that. And can you imagine going a whole year where you're setting people up on a service and in a business, but not being paid? And that's what they did. And a part of several multi-level companies, loved his job, but wasn't making the income. There's so many people out there that love what they do, but they need more money. And that was their situation. So I'm just thrilled to be on here with you guys. I appreciate it. And Jane, again, kudos to you, and kudos to everyone who's on here listening and taking notes and growing as a result of this. Because as I look in the screen at the screen and see the MacKenzies and the Wilsons, there's so much knowledge, so much history, so much to be shared there. And then add in Timmer, you know, these are all people who've made over $1 million because they've stayed the course and learned the business. I'm totally honored to see you guys. Back to you, Jane. I know I'm rambling.
No, just wonderful. Don, Don and Rob, do you have anything to add? Anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, let me go first, Don, and you can finish up, because your words of wisdom are always incredible, and we're so honored to have your words of wisdom touch our lives. But first of all, our prayers have been with Timmer, you know, over the past little while, and he may not know it directly, but they have been there with him as we all go through tough times in our lives. And as we get older, we seem to run into a lot of them more and more. But our prayers are with you and your family for sure. And I want you to know that. One tip I can say is, you know, we have a bit of a call that John Drennan actually inspired us to do, that we get together with our team every morning at 9 o'clock till 9:20, exactly 20 minutes. We don't go over. And every morning we get on, and we've been, you know, analyzing, reading a book together. It's not just a book club, but we've been really reading a book and vocalizing it, part of a community that John talks about, being part of a community where your voice is needed. And we have about the same number of people that come on this call right now. And we've read 150 books now together and dissected the 150 books, like literally page by page, paragraph by paragraph, chapter by chapter. Excuse me. And one of the books we're reading right now, you may have never heard of, it's called Pushing Up People. We're just finishing this, and this is by Art Williams, who is John Addison's mentor. And John Addison now is literally steering our ship with Legal Shield right now. We had positioned this book about 6 months ago, not knowing what was unfolding with John Addison stepping forward to lead this. But I would put this book now in our top 10 list of those 150 books. If you have not gotten that book, it's a little bit hard to get because it's written in 1984, but words of wisdom never change. And so I encourage you, if you are a reader, and I encourage leaders or readers, Pushing Up People by Art Williams. There's just another quick look at it. You might find it in a used bookstore. I know he led the name of the company.
America.
Primerica. Thanks, John. I got a brain freeze there.
Yeah, Williams.
Yeah, but he doesn't talk about it in the book at all. He talks about pushing up people and how we can help people on a basis. I just put it in the top 10 list, so I'll give it back over to Don to finish up. Thank you for having us.
It's always so great to be on here. It doesn't matter which one, and any one of you on this call could be leading the call. And I so admire this group and y'all getting together the way you do on such a regular basis. And I've been sitting here trying to think how to formulate what I heard recently so that I could share it. And Danny Godin, are you available to pop on video or audio there? We'll pick on Danny for a second.
Here she comes.
Hey.
Hi,
Hey, Danny, forgive me. I don't remember. Do you have children?
I have 3 of them.
3 of them. May I use you as an example?
Of course.
All right, I heard this recently. So Danny, and I hope I'm not being too personal. Are you a multimillionaire yet?
Working on it.
You're not one yet.
Not yet.
Okay. So a lot of people say, I'm not making what I want to make in Legal Shield. I'm not there. I'm working on it. I'm not a millionaire. They hear all these titles that Legal Shield throws around. So Danny, let me ask you a question. You said you have 3 beautiful children. Would you sell them to me for $1 million?
No,
Would you sell them to me for $5 million?
I might start considering it.
No, Dan.
Well, congratulations, Danny. You're already a millionaire. It's about the value that your children bring into your life. You have $1 million lifestyle already.
Absolutely.
So with Legal Shield, we can grow the money side of our business. Remember, Legal Shield is just the vehicle that is going to allow us to have the lifestyle that we want to live. One of the things we used to say a lot when we first started this business, what would you like your business, your life to look like in 3 to 5 years? Or is what you're doing today going to retire you in 3 to 5 years in the lifestyle that you want to retire in? Think about those things, folks. Legal Shield can do that for you. Don't think it's all about that sale you make today. It's about that residual check that you'll get later. I know Rob and John and myself and probably several others on this call are getting residual checks. And those residual checks can simply go up and up and up. You get paid once up front, really nice, but then you start getting that residual over and over and over again. Ellen and I are still being paid on memberships we sold 22 plus years ago. Think about that. What are you doing? What else in life could we possibly do where we could be paid over and over and over and over? It's a little bit, but it's a little bit on a lot. And if you just keep filling that pipeline, filling that pipeline, filling that pipeline, that millionaire status will come. Guys, it's here if you want to go after it. Then the company is putting out, and I can't tell you because I don't know what it is, but the rumor mill in Legal Shields is there's some really big announcements coming in July. Don't know what it is, but they really don't normally come out with those kind of statements quietly. I think they sometimes leak them on purpose, but it's happening. So folks, all of you can be millionaires. You're already millionaires in your life. Now just add the money side millionaire to it. So with that, thank you so much, Mr. Drennan. Thank you for your leadership, Mr. MacKenzie, Charlene. Thank you, Jane and Brenda, for having us on. We appreciate it. And I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's great. Jane, I'll turn it back over to you, and God bless everybody.
Absolutely amazing. John, do you have any final comments before we close out?
Well, I do, and it relates to this Zoom. As a team for years, many years, decades, we've done a Sunday night Zoom with very few breaks from that. When we heard, about a month ago that with the evolution, if you will, of what's going on with Legal Shield, they want to really tighten communication. And as a company, they're going to a once a month communication show versus a weekly leadership show. After digesting that, I talked to Timmer and we thought, let's make our Sunday night Zoom once a month. And let's do it the Sunday following the monthly communication show. Now, given July is the first new month of this track, we're assuming there will be a communication show Friday this week, but maybe it'll be Monday. But we're going to go ahead next Sunday, assuming there will be a communications Friday, and maybe we'll hear what Don Wilson just referenced, some announcements. So we think it's really important to kick off our new monthly Zoom format a week from tonight. Timmer and I will be heading that up, leading it. We are going to be asking for help, and it's going to be once a month. It'll likely be more than 30 minutes because we're doing it once a month, and we're not going to waste your time, but we're going to fill it with value. So Timmer and I are looking forward to that. And we both have a renewed place in our minds and hearts and emotions for this. So that's what I had to share. And once again, MacKenzies and Wilsons, I'm just so grateful to you guys and Ellen and Charlene. So
Phenomenal. So to close out this Zoom, to close out our quarter, to close out my team here, I'm going to let Chuck give us 1 minute, and then I do have a video if you'd like to hang on. So Chuck, I'm going to give it over to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jane. I love sports. Sports are a microcosm for our life, which would be the macro. And today they were interviewing both coaches going to the USL championship game. The coach of the Philadelphia Stars was asked a question about what was he thinking about the game, and he said, "A lot of things are going to happen. Be ready. Don't react. Or excuse me, respond. Do not react. So respond, don't react, because a lot of things are going to happen." By the way, this really goes back to what Don and Rob were talking about. The coach of the Birmingham Stallions asked the same question, and he said, "It's about the journey, not the destination necessarily." So they were enjoying the journey to the championship game, and I heard it with Don and Rob about the journey. So as long as we enjoy the journey, we're successful. I like Don's comment also about we're already millionaires. So Jane, thank you for letting me be a part of this amazing team. And back to you.
Absolutely. So with that, here's our closeout video tonight, everyone.
It never dawned on me until about 4 or 5 years into network marketing that finding prospects was a skill. What? I thought it was a natural resource. I never thought it was a skill. It's actually a skill that you could develop and you could nurture and you could improve and you could get better at? Okay. That's a new thought. So I started to look at what the successful people did, and let me just give you something to start off with. From Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. The richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. I think that's so true. This is a life skill, people. It's not just a network marketing skill. Finding people, meeting people, interacting with people, bringing value to other people, building relationships with other people, strengthening your network, strengthening your influence, being more powerful. It's a life skill. All the great leaders in the world understand this. They know how to shake more hands. They know how to provide more value. They know how to connect with more people. Harvey McKay, my good friend, he talks about this. He has a book called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. A lot of people think, like How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive as their favorite book. This is my favorite book of his books. Dig your well before you're thirsty. What does that mean? Build relationships before you need them. Build friendships before you need them. Bring value to somebody else before you ask for value out of yourself. Like Gary said, jab, jab, jab. And then, give, give, give. And then ask. Dig your well before you're thirsty. Harvey McKay is a real living example of what he talks about. He's one of the most powerful networked guys I know. And he's my friend. And I'll give you an example of the kind of guy that Harvey is. We've done a few interviews. How many have seen Harvey's interview on Network Marketing Pro? The rest of you, go back in the archives and find it. It's really good. Guy's wildly successful. But I had an issue. My wife, my stepson with my wife Marina, was trying to figure out his visa to get his green card to get to the United States. After we got married, all these different challenges, huge challenges, and they were saying no, can't do it. So I called Harvey and said, Harvey, can you help? And my friend Harvey, who's more busy than anybody I know practically, he called senators, he called Congress people, he called the fundraisers for those people and said, this needs to be a priority. If Harvey asks something of me, guess what the answer is going to be? Yes, whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. If he asked me to look at an opportunity, guess what I would say? Absolutely. When and where, Harvey? See, he understood and understands the value of building networks, digging your well before you're thirsty. He has some basic fundamental principles. His father, who was an Associated Press reporter, sat him down at age 21 and said, Harvey, now that you're out of school, every person that you meet for the rest of your life, get their contact information, put them into your Rolodex, and find a creative way to stay in touch, find a way to provide value to those people. And if you'll do that, Harvey, everything else in business and in life will take care of itself. Just start today. Hey,
So with that, everyone, I hope you got value tonight. I don't even need to say that. What a phenomenal evening. Thank you, Don, again. Rob and Charlene, I think they dropped off already, but good evening. Good night, everyone. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., morning stretch call, and we will go from there. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.
Woohoo! Bye, Don.
Have a good night,
guys.
everybody.
Bye, Timmer.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Stop the recording.
Night, John Boy.